I try to come up with original content, try to have my own ideas. I don't like to, what I call content poach. Sorry, you probably hear my dogs bark in the background. Every once in a while, a content creator throws something out there that piques my interest. And today I decided to piggyback off an idea that Josh put out there, better known as Shade Tree Surgeon. Him and Shay Lisi, well, they just got done doing a cross-country trip. They were on matching silver wings that were donated and originated here in the Portland area. I'm really interested in watching these videos because I see a lot of familiar territory in them. The last time Josh did this, he went south via the coast highway. He got there by going right by my house. Literally, you can see my street, buildings on my street in his video. He was literally a half a mile away from my front door. He's doing a lot in Portland, and it's really piqued my interest. That being said, he took a ride. The first stretch of their ride, they went through the mountains this time. They left downtown Portland with a group of riders that rode with them as far as Bend. The thing about his video that struck me, and I shared his excitement about, was that he was saying a lot of the guys that rode with him were newer riders. Some of them had never ridden in a group before. Some of them had never been on a long ride before. He was excited that he got to share in that first experience with them. And his saying, and it is his saying, I'm stealing it from him, he keeps saying, buy the bike. I share that sentiment. Another thing that he pointed out was some of these guys are in their, late 30s, 40s, whatever. They're middle-aged, and people assume when they see people our age riding that we've been riding forever, and it's not always the case. He talked to one guy that had just bought his bike a year ago, and there he was doing a long first leg of the trip with Josh, riding, far distances and having a blast. Okay, sorry, I heard a bike and was waiting to see if it was coming here or not. The thing that got me was, if you've seen any of my other videos, you know that I belong to an organization, a group called Highway 18 Riders Group. It was just basically to meet other people locally here that might want to meet other people that ride also. When we had our first big group ride, and when I say big, it was big for us. We had maybe 20 riders of all varying degrees of experience and riding skill and whatnot. Yeah, basic hodgepodge of riders. And hang on. Okay, now they stopped. I was going to go tell my dogs to be quiet, but apparently they're going to be quiet on their own. Anyways, so yeah, we had all different skill sets, different experience levels. Some people had ridden in groups before, some people had not, some people had barely ridden at all before, and some people were riding their first big bikes, and so yeah, it's quite the variety of people. And to illustrate the point, we had an unfortunate rider. Actually, I have a large gravel area in my front yard, and he didn't quite make it out of the gravel. Tried to make a little tight turn. He wasn't used to that. Locked the front bars, and not a hard spill by any means, but I'm sure enough to be a little embarrassed about. So that same person, fast forward a year and a half, and he hadn't been around for a while, and he showed up to one of our barbecues and he says, "Hey, where you been?" And he had a big smile on his face, and he says, "I've been riding with quite a few other groups and having a great time." He went and bought a brand new Heritage. He's having a blast and enjoying himself and loving life, and that's what it was all about. When we started the group, we says we want to go and create our own little niche of the biker community. As I've stated before, and I'll say again, it's just, people that wanted to meet other bikers that shared the same passion and love of being on two wheels as we do. Josh mentioned a stigma in his video about how some people ride by themselves because they're afraid of not being accepted, or they're afraid that their bike won't fit in with everybody else's bike, or that they're not quite skilled enough to ride with a pack to keep up with the group, whatnot. And we had those concerns expressed to us when we first started our venture with the Highway 18 group. And after riding a couple times with the group, those same people felt really comfortable, enjoyed themselves immensely, and were not afraid to do it again. I mentioned in my previous video that we have what I call the first 10, which are very hardcore, dedicated people to what we're doing around here. And some people think, they see us running around, and we're all on Harleys right now. But let me explain something to you. Most of them are outside the garage right now, but sitting outside my garage, I have I have Penny, which is definitely a Harley. But sitting outside, I have 1, 2, 3 Suzuki Cruisers. I have, if you can see behind Penny, I have my Bobber, which is also a metric. It's a Suzuki. Full disclosure, this is my first Harley. I don't believe before I got her I had ever actually ridden a Harley before. Yeah, I haven't been like a long time Harley rider or anything. I just finally got to get my dream bike, and there she is, and she just happens to be a Harley Davidson. But out of our first 10, I know one of them, until I believe a year ago, was riding a V-Star. Another rider was on a Honda Shadow. There's quite a few people in our group that still ride metrics. But even the ones that have Harleys, just as I do, usually still have a metric in their stable. So we have made it a big point to not discriminate against what kind of bike you ride. It's not what you ride, it's how you ride. The people out there that think that all Harley riders just want to ride with Harley riders and just want to ride one way and one style and kind of poo-poo on everybody else, that's not exactly true. There are exclusive clubs where it's Harley only, or Indian only, or Goldwing only. It's not just Harley riders. Everybody else has their own specific thing too. I belong to a Facebook page that's purely cavalcade riders because I have a cavalcade. It doesn't mean that I don't like other bikes. Doesn't mean that we don't like other bikes. Like I said, again, and I'll say it over and over again, it's not what you ride, it's how you ride. And if you're honestly wanting to step up your game a bit and you want to ride with other people, but you don't have that experience, just tell the group, and the group will watch out for you. The group will make concessions for you if need be. I remember I was riding with a a local American Legion post, and I had what is now my bobber, an Intruder 1400, 3-gallon tank, 4-speed, not exactly a high-speed cruiser. And anyways, these guys are riding full-dressed Harleys and 1800 gold wings, and we're going on long rides. And I told them, I says, I get, if I'm nice to my bike, I get 90 miles out of a tank. And most of the time I'm scared at 75 to 80 and pulling over for gas. And they said, okay, we'll pull over for gas too. Just let somebody know. Tap on your tank and let us know. And if you had to pull over, then somebody or all of us will pull over with you, or we will plan gas stops accordingly. And I had a great time. They were more than gracious, and they were more than happy to teach me the rules of the road when it comes to group riding, because I really didn't know. I had always ridden by myself. Some of the guys I know had been riding and doing all this stuff all their lives, so I was a bit intimidated, to be honest. So I understood when people came to me with that same sentiment. They're like, well, we'd like to ride with you, but not sure if we're up to the task. And I says, well, come on, let's find out. The thing is you're never too old to get on a motorcycle and discover something that you're truly going to love. So what I guess I'm trying to say is go out there, make friends. You go on one ride and you'd be surprised how many new people that you make contact with and maybe create long-time lasting friendships with. The majority of the people that I hang out with on a day-to-day basis now, I did not know 3 years ago until I started going out and group riding and getting involved in the motorcycle community, other than just riding by myself and being a lone wolf, as they say. If I'd ask you to take away anything from this video, it's that the riding community is pretty awesome. Wouldn't do you any disservice if you were to go out there and meet some people and have a good time. And don't let fear or even ego or anything like that stop you from meeting new friends. At the end of the day, that's what makes life good, is the people around you. Buy the bike, encourage your friends to buy a bike, and go out and meet other people that already bought theirs. And it doesn't matter what you're riding, as long as you're loving it, as long as you're enjoying it when you do it. That'll be it for this video. Stay safe, keep it on twos, and we'll see you in the next episode.